Hello, everyone. Yeah, this is my second recording actually. So before I get started, my name is Osar Yamu. I'm the CEO and co-founder of OdeCloud, and I decided a few weeks ago to start like a video diary, something that I record. I was hoping to record this every day, but it's been a couple of days since I've done one of these, and yeah, reason being, so today is Tuesday. I'm home. My son has been feeling a little ill for the past couple of days. Had some breathing issues, but he's much better now. Just kept him home for a few days, just to make sure everything is okay. But yeah, he's good. Breathing much better, happy, and playing again, talking, and all that stuff. So he's one. So it could be a bit scary to have, breathing issues at this age. So decided to take a few days off just to be with him and make sure, we're keeping him safe. Yeah. So what I wanted to share this morning, yeah. So these recordings are mostly about my experience of building a company here in San Francisco, and at the same time having a family and trying to make everything work together. One thing that happened last week, so we were interviewing for a role for a backend developer, and we are now looking at hiring people from all these different marketplaces that exist today, that have developers, in some developing countries like, Nigeria being one of them, South America. Many countries there have good developers, and those platforms are really targeting those talents, making sure they can bring affordable skills to affordable expertise to people here in the US or companies here in the US. And during the interview, so we were interviewing that day 3 people from Nigeria. And yeah, there was a sense of pride in that call that I felt that, yeah, I'm actually interviewing engineers from Nigeria to work for OdeCloud. And I felt excited about that. But after a few minutes into the interview, a different feeling came to mind, which was more like, am I really doing the right thing here? If you think about it, if I look at these guys' resume prior to being on that platform, they've worked for 4 or 5 different startups in Nigeria. They've helped them build a product. They've helped them, reach some kind of success within that market. But again, the competition now is these platforms coming in and, making work, making basically, giving them access to jobs in the US with a much better pay. And they can work remotely. So they don't actually need to be here physically to work. So it's good for us in the US here because we have that access to talents, at a good price, quite cheap if you think about it. But when you think about where those guys came from and the impact they could have in their economies and in their society, if we didn't get this access to them, who knows? Nigeria could be the next Silicon Valley, right? And that's really what's happening, and what could happen is scary to see that it might not. Like having this much talent in the space like Nigeria, and having all of them work for the most paying client in the US, and not spending that talent locally to help their businesses and their startups grow, I think it's quite sad. So it's sad, and that's what I felt throughout the 2 other interviews that followed the first one, is that yes, we're going to hire them, and yes, they'll do amazing, and end of the day, they would not be available to support their cousin startup, the neighbor's business, or just support their country. And it was an interesting discussion I had with those guys, because they have all the talent we need and most businesses that in tech would need. So how, so again, that was the thoughts that came to mind, but something else came as well. One thing I'm always looking at is, how do we encourage our team members to do more than just work, right? We've discussed this internally many times. Like our developers, we call this the 80-20. So 80% is spent on your task list, doing your dev work for OdeCloud, delivering some of the features that we planned. And that's great. At 80% of your time should be spent on those things. But 20%, you choose what else to do with it. Still within, the billable time, if you're a contractor for OdeCloud. But again, you choose whatever you want to do with that. And we've extended that to contractors, in the sense that it doesn't really matter if you're an employee of OdeCloud or if you're a contractor. You can take that 20% and do something more interesting with it. It could be, build a feature that wasn't planned for OdeCloud, or, help your cousin do something fun. And if we can help in any way, why not use OdeCloud resources to actually do that? And when I think of this idea and expand to how we could use this to really give back somehow to those developing countries, I think it could be huge, because what I'm thinking right now is that we leverage this same idea. 80% of the time, the work is spent on OdeCloud, building OdeCloud features, but 20%, they should spend that on building something locally, working with a startup locally, and that's all paid time. OdeCloud will pay those 20%, no problem. But what I really want them, and within the team, we spoke about this as well. We really want those contractors, those freelancers we hired on these marketplaces, to spend 20% of the time OdeCloud is paying for to support a local startup. Doesn't matter, what that startup does. And at the end of the day, I think they have ideas of how they would spend that time anyways, if they were given the opportunity. So think of this, right? Monday to Thursday, you're working for OdeCloud. Friday, pick up your project. It could be your cousin, your neighbor, your friends from school, having an idea of a startup. It could even be building a website for your mom who has a shop, right? It doesn't matter. Just choose what project would be the most important for you to support. And we will support that. And we'll be happy to follow up on those projects, see how that evolves, open up our tech platform for those projects as well. We're pretty much like an open source platform right now, so you can use any of our APIs to do whatever you feel like, is important for you to do, get quicker. All the ideas that we've kind of put together to make this platform work, you can leverage all of that to speed up your projects. And that's all we want to make available to these contractors that we're getting from these countries, because yes, we can't really function without having access to more affordable talent. But I think there's a better impact we can do if we reinvest in those markets. And it's only going to pay back because again, I think it's important for those countries to also evolve and be more, tech enabled, right? So for me, it's all back to the same thing. I think it's important that those guys get that 20% of time that OdeCloud pays for, and they use that to support something they really care about in their local markets. So that's what has been in my mind since I've been home taking care of my son. And once I have these little moments, I think of what we could do to actually prevent what could be a disaster of just poaching these talents out of this market and making them unavailable to support their own economies. Here's one idea, and we definitely want to follow through with it. And as long as OdeCloud exists, this idea should remain. Doesn't matter if you're an employee, if you're a freelancer, you have that 20% to support things that you care about. And OdeCloud will fully be, paying for that. And it's even more important if you are from those countries that need your help to, to scale up, startups to be able to help build it, I would say, better country, more tech enabled. So it's even more important for us to stick to this idea. So that's all I have for today. I'm going to leave it at that. And we'll talk again soon. Cheers.